Hi, welcome to Angelica, New York, a town where history lives, and also my hometown. I'm Marika. I'm going to be your tour guide today, and I'm so excited to tell you all about Angelica, New York. So come on, let's get started. Angelica is a small town in western New York, population of 1,200. It was established in 1805 by Philip Church. Philip Church purchased a 100,000-acre plot, which is known now by Allegheny County. His uncle Alexander Hamilton held the mortgage for him. It was named after his mother, Angelica Schuyler Church. Her sister, Eliza, was married to Alexander Hamilton, which made him Philip's uncle. Philip Church hired Everett Van Winkle from New York City. He was a surveyor who was brought here by Philip Church to lay out the town, including the circle, which was designed as a replica of the center of Paris, where Angelica and her family lived, and Philip had been educated. Philip was the aide-de-camp to his uncle Alexander Hamilton, who in turn was an aide-de-camp for George Washington in the Revolutionary War. The Church family built a big, beautiful home called the Belvedere Mansion just outside Angelica, and that's when Philip got married and started to raise his family. The Park Circle is the pulse of Angelica. It kicks off the summer season with our farmers market, and then we also have a lavender festival in July. Then along comes the Heritage Days that's been going on for 50 years, sponsored by the Angelica Boosters, who do wonderful things for our town to keep the history alive. We also host the Civil War Reenactment Weekend, which reenactors come from all over, camp out in town. School children come to learn about the history of the Civil War. Our town really comes alive, and it actually feels like you've stepped back in time. It is truly a town where history lives. Then to close out the season, we have the luminaries, which are candles lit around the park, carols sung around a Christmas tree, and a live nativity scene to celebrate the season by the Methodist Church. Other town activities include the 176th year for our Allegheny County Fair in Angelica, and also Cruise Night featuring vintage cars throughout the summer. Our little town thrives on tourism. A very unique thing to Angelica is our rope court located inside the Park Circle. Rope was a gentleman's game at the turn of the century, played with two-man teams on a clay-based enclosed court, much like the game croquet. There are only 5 rope courts left in the country. We have a tournament every summer for both men and women to participate. There is nothing like hearing the clack of the croquet balls through the trees on a summer day. It's quite unique. This is the Angelica Post Office. It's been in its current location for over 100 years now. Before that, it was a bakery. You can still see bakery written on the side of the building. This is also home of the Angelica Angel cancellation. A local artist does one cancellation every year for over 20 years now. She does it at Christmas time. Collectors from all over the world come to get their Christmas stamps canceled. It's also adjacent to the Park Circle, which is the center of town, the livelihood of Angelica, and all of our festivals are held there. This is the lobby of the Angelica Post Office. There's a lot of history just right here. This is probably the most photographed spot in Angelica. This is Angelica's hometown radio station. It was founded by Don Ash, Jim Rushak, and Gary Bartow. They've been doing it since 2015 with a lot of community support. It's pretty cool, huh?
Listening to WRAQ-LP, Angelica, New York.
Hi, I'm Chris Gallmann. I'm the library director for Angelica Free Library. Often people come in visiting from out of town and they see our beautiful building and they come in to look around. When I ask them how much they know about our town and they say not much, I ask them if they know the musical Hamilton. When their eyes light up, I tell them how Philip Church, our founder, is the nephew of Alexander Hamilton. He named the town after Angelica, his mother, also of Hamilton fame. And when they leave, they are charmed not only by our village, but by our history as well. When you come to visit Angelica, you will leave charmed too.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wise. Welcome to Angelica, home of world-famous Angelica Bakery Salt Rising Bread. It's been a family-owned business since 1969, and they have a family secret for their salt rising bread nobody knows. I first came to Angelica in 2014 When I arrived, I didn't know anybody here. I immediately got involved with some of the things going on, and at the time, I became the manager of the Angelica Farmers Market, which meets in our park circle every Saturday. I did that for 4.5 years and had a ball. Through that and through other individual meetings and so on, I got to know people here, and what I feel now and felt then was a strong sense of community. People care about one another here. They know when you're sick, they care about that, they help out.
Behind me, these two houses were built by U.S. Surgeon General Molander. That was in 1806, and this was in 1820. It's going to be 200 years old this year. After he moved out, the residence then belonged to Dr. William Smith. He was a surgeon during the Civil War. And right next door to their houses was the property of Everett Van Wickle. He was the surveyor that was hired by Philip Church to come in, survey the land, help sell plots, and also plan the community. He had the first wood stick structure house built on this side of the Mississippi. Up at the front of the lot was a log cabin. Up until then, everything was pretty much log cabins. So this is the oldest standing wood structure framed house in Allegheny County. This big beautiful home is also known as the Sunnycroft in 1886, built by Frank Sullivan Smith, who was also the lawyer for the Shawmut-Pittsburgh Railroad. Frank married Clara Higgins, and then Clara Higgins Smith donated the funds to have the library built directly across the street. Frank and Clara both donated money to have St. Francis built 30 miles away, which is now Olean General Hospital. This piece of property was purchased back in 1823 by Mr. Sherman from Philip Church for a whopping $96. At that time, the business catered to cattle ranchers coming off the railroad because no other business in town wanted them. They thought that this business would go down first because of their patrons. Well, the joke was on them because this is the longest running business in the county. Also, John L. Sullivan, the bare-knuckle boxing champion of the late 1800s, used to sneak out of his training camp from Belfast and come over here and drink at the bar. He would spar for money in the back room, and he was also dating the owner's daughter.
Angelica's our hometown!
Well, I'm going to wrap it up from there. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of Angelica and a little bit of our history. I hope you'll come to Angelica and see the charm for yourself. I think you won't want to leave. Special thanks to Matt Williamson for his drone photography. Thank you also to Thomas Murray for the Civil War footage, and for all those who helped me with history. I hope I didn't get anything wrong. And don't hate me if I did. I'll see you soon. Thanks for visiting.